Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Ice Wolves Insider.
And it's Liam Brennan, the hat-trick goal, wins the Credit Union Cup for the LaRange Ice Wolves.
On tonight's program, we'll be chatting with Ice Wolves Blue Liners Alex Vandenameele and Ben Bula, as well as Ice Wolves head coach Bob Beatty. And then in our usual From the Stands feature, we'll be talking with Ice Wolves followers Daniel Fink, Terry Moose Hunt, and Sean Hallett. Should be a great show. We'll see you right back. Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider. We're joined now by a couple of Ice Wolves players, both defensemen actually, Ben Bula and Alex Vandenameele. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's talk about the week that was. A relatively light week, I guess, for you guys. A couple of home ice wins versus the Melville Millionaires. One at the Mel and one at the JR. Maybe talk about what went right for you guys this past weekend, why you thought you came away with both victories. So start with you there, Ben.
Well, we're clicking right now. Everything's going good. We came prepared to play those games, and we battled hard, did the things we needed to do to win. And even though last game we were down by a couple, we rallied and started playing our game and got the points we needed to stay in first place.
There you go. Alex, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the second game there at the JR kind of didn't play the best game, but we took it as a playoff game in the end and showed some heart and came out with the win, so it's good.
Was it tough giving up for games against the Millionaires, knowing that you're probably not going to face them in the playoffs? They're in a different conference, plus they're a fifth place club, you guys are a first place club. Was it tough to get over that, or were you guys basically treating this like any other game that you guys have played recently? Start with you there, Alex.
No, I think all the games right now are big, because we're trying to keep that first place lead over Melfort, and stealing points from the other division teams is big, and it's we're taking each game seriously right now. So yeah.
Ben, your thoughts?
Well, like you said, Melfort's right on our tail, and any wins we can get to keep ahead of Melfort right now is huge. And Melville came to battle, but they're out of conference team, and would rather steal 2 points from them and then them take it from us and have Melfort right behind us, nipping on our heels, and us fighting for first place. So
yeah, maybe I shouldn't ask you guys this while the coach is in the room, but was there maybe a little bit of scoreboard watching there on Saturday, knowing that Melfort was losing and you guys were in a close game there against the Millionaires? You guys obviously must have been relieved, obviously with the win, but also knowing that the Mustangs had lost that night. Now you guys are 5 points ahead of them. I'll let you answer that first there, Alex.
Well, I know they announced it through our game that they were up 3-0, was it? Or down 3-0, Melfort was down 3-0 or whatever. And I know some of the guys kind of, were happy to hear that, but I think most of us were more focused on winning that game and coming back from being behind. So I don't know, it's tough to say.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Ben, guys, pretty happy with knowing that the Mustangs have lost while you guys have come through with the come from behind victory there.
yeah, well, we were happy. I honestly didn't even know Melfort was playing that night, but once I found out that they were playing, they were down 3-0. I was like, well, we win this game. There's an extra couple points that we put ahead of them, so that was kind of like an extra boost that we kind of needed to spark our team and battle for that win.
Yeah. So you guys got a taste of both rinks here in LaRange over the weekend. Maybe just kind of, aside from the obvious rink dimensions difference between the two, what are some of the bigger differences you noticed playing in the two ice surfaces there at the JR and at the Mel? I'll start with you there, Alex.
Well, I think the plant at the JR went down early Saturday or something, so they had the big Zamboni door open, and it was real cold there at the start. But I liked the ice. Last time we played there in the pregame skate, they like real hard ice, and it was real nice to play on. So good fans, and it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, no, I like the GR. It's a good ice surface. Bit more room to kind of give yourself some more time to and make those decisions, but it's a good rink, good fan base, good ice. Like Alex said, it's got no problems with it. I like it. It's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's look ahead to the next 3 weeks here of the regular season before the playoffs. Obviously, you got a few games against Flin Flon Bombers, 2 coming up this week. How critical are these games against the Bombers? Knowing that the season series is actually still pretty close. I think you guys leading 3-2. There hasn't been a home team that's won in this series so far. Excuse me. How critical are these games? I'll start with you there, Alex.
Well, real big. You know, like you don't want to lose to a division rival, for sure, eh? And especially when we're trying to stay ahead of Melfort. So yeah, those points are real big, and really like to come away with wins.
Yeah.
So.
Ben?
Yeah, you know what, these wins are going to be huge, and especially since we've played them 8 times and they're a possible team that we could see in the playoffs. We want to get this established first, that it's going to be a battle no matter where or when we play them. So just kind of, it's a good way to gear up for playoffs, so to speak, because every time we play them, it's like a playoff hockey game. So it's really good.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the program. Appreciate that.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider. We've been chatting with Ice Wolf defenders Ben Bula and Alex Vandenameele. We'll be right back with head coach Bob Beatty.
Some people think wetlands are wastelands. Actually, marshes and other wetlands are important ecosystems, home to an amazing diversity of wildlife. Without them, some species would disappear. We would suffer too, since wetlands help purify and control the levels of our water. Many of these fragile areas are being lost to development, so let's do what we can to protect wetlands. To learn more, visit hww.ca.
Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider. We're joined right now by Ice Wolves head coach Bob Beatty. Bob, thanks for being on the program today.
No, thanks for having me.
All right. So a successful week, a couple of home ice wins over the Melville Millionaires. Maybe let's start with Friday's win over Melville. Let's start there. Maybe give us, I guess, your take on that game.
Well, Friday night I thought we played very well. We played a fairly complete game. Up until last weekend, Weyburn and Flin Flon games, to be honest, I didn't think we were playing our best hockey, and we were waiting for things to start to peak a little bit more. I thought we played very well, Weyburn, Flin Flon, and then continued on Friday night. I thought we had a pretty solid effort. We're very happy. The Saturday game was great to battle back and win, and like the boys said, they approached it like a playoff game. When we got down, we needed to find a way to win, and they were able to do that. They worked extremely hard. I thought in the first period we lost a lot of puck races, and it's a bit of an adjustment to going from the Mel to the JR, and the previous time we played Kindersley out there, we played a pretty solid game, although we did, excuse me, lose a few puck races in the first period. It's just a little harder to take away time and space, and it's a great rink to play, and obviously the ice is in good shape, and the facility's really well maintained, and we enjoy playing there. I think our team is probably built for a little bit bigger ice surface, more so this year than it was last year.
It seemed like in both games, and you had to be happy with this, that your team came through with goals at real pivotal points of the game. Obviously, in Game 2, you had the 2 third-period goals for the come-from-behind victory, but even in Game 1, you had the late goal to make it 3-1 late in the second, and then they come back, make it 3-2, but then you guys respond with a couple more in pretty short order. You had to be pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, they were timely, and I thought, goals aside, I thought, Friday night was, we executed pretty well. We were a lot better without the puck than we had been prior to the Weyburn game. It's good to see a little bit of consistency there. Mm-hmm. We still have some work to do, but obviously we're going in the right direction.
All right. Now, you and I were talking earlier about how last year you guys were 6-2 against the Bombers in the regular season, finished behind the Bombers, going into the playoffs. That must have given you confidence and been one of the reasons why you guys felt you had a pretty good chance against the Bombers and eventually prevailed over them. Knowing that the season series is still pretty close, you're leading 3-2, is that one of the things you're trying to emphasize, that hey, we got to take the season series, we can't just simply be content with splitting a series or anything like that. You got a home and home this weekend. You guys approaching this with a fair amount of priority as far as getting both W's here?
Yeah, with 10 games left and a 5-point spread on Melfort, obviously every game is big. But we don't like Flin Flon and they don't like us, and that's the way it should be. And certainly, the games have displayed some emotion, in the last few outings against them, and I expect a war. A home and home series with the Bombers is going to be as close to playoff hockey as you're going to get in the regular season.
A lot of people wondering how you're going to utilize your goalies down the stretch here. Obviously, last year you went to both netminders as you went on your long playoff run there. You obviously have a veteran netminder and a rookie netminder this year. Miles Hoftebo, the rookie, is really, if you take a look at his winning percentage, it's almost ridiculous winning percentage. And obviously you've been taking care in terms of where to utilize him. Are we going to see him perhaps a little bit more down the stretch, just to make sure that he's a proven second option there for you?
Yeah, I think that was our plan all along, is to get him, some more games and some more experience. After Christmas, he was actually scheduled to start the Weyburn game, but took a puck off the knee the day before and just wasn't, quite comfortable. We weren't quite comfortable putting him in at less than 100%, but Miles has played extremely well. We're very confident in him, and he will play, more in the next 10 games. He'll play more than every third game, I would venture to guess.
All right. Obviously, you guys are wanting to finish first in both the conference and league standings, but are there any other goals that you guys have as a team before the playoffs begin, things that you guys want to specifically work on, or some other maybe secondary accomplishments you want to see happen?
Well, as a group, we had set a goal of 35 wins at the beginning of the season, and I think that we'll try and accomplish that goal first, and then we'll reset our sights. I think it will take 40 wins to get first place with Melfort playing the way they are, and it's certainly the games that we play them are going to be huge, in terms of whether we finish ahead of them or not. We've got 2 games against Melfort, but we have to keep winning. Every game is big, and the biggest thing I think is to be playing your best hockey when the playoffs arrive, and if we can continue going in the same direction we have been the last few games, I think we're going to get close. And first place is important. I've never been one to put a lot of emphasis on finishing first, as long as you're playing your best hockey come playoff time and you have everybody ready to go. And, we have 8 defensemen and 14 forwards that we need to make sure that are in sync and getting enough ice time and comfortable in as many situations as they might get into in the playoff run. But and we mentioned our goaltenders, and there's a lot of pressure on both of them to perform, obviously, come playoff time. So home ice advantage. If we can finish first in our division, it appears that we could establish home ice throughout the playoffs, and that would be a nice touch for us.
All right. Well, Bob, once again, thank you for being on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider. We've been chatting with Ice Wolves head coach Bob Beatty. We'll be right back from the stands.
Warramps is a big family. It's people who I can relate to who have amputations like me.
It's like a big support group.
It's allowed me to reach goals that I never thought possible.
My prosthetic limbs the Warramps gave me help me so much. I can do running, snowboarding,
play guitar, ride my bike, skip rope, play soccer. I can run really fast.
I play hockey.
I can do what you can do, and that's what the Warramps does for people.
Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider. It's now time for our usual From the Stands segment. And on tonight's program, we feature Terry Moose Hunt, as well as Daniel Fink and Sean Hallett. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you.
All right. So, yeah, we've already kind of discussed the last weekend here with the players and the coach, so I thought we'd maybe take a look ahead here. Let's look ahead maybe at the playoffs. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen in terms of who's matched up with what. But aside from, say, the Melfort Mustangs, who would be a team in this conference that you think might give the Ice Wolves the most trouble come playoff time? I'll maybe start with you there, Daniel.
Well, we've seen them a bunch of times this season. We've seen a whole slew of one-goal games, all but one of them this season. That's the Battleford's North Stars. They're a team that comes out hitting. They got a couple big guys like Tony Oak, that hit not necessarily, they don't hit dirty, but they hit to hurt. They hit solid. They make you pay for every single inch you get on the ice, and that's a team that over the grind of a 7-game series, if you don't maybe get a couple breaks, get out of there in 4 games, even if you get out of there in 4 games, you're going to come out hurting.
Yeah. Sean, looked like you're nodding your head there.
Oh, absolutely. I agree for sure, Kelly. They are, last year was a tough battle against them. It really was, and they were taking liberties. Honest, they absolutely were. So I agree with Daniel for sure. They could be a handful. Absolutely.
Terry, would you agree with the North Stars?
Oh, I agree with the North Stars, but you got to be prepared to play anybody. If there's 10 games to go in the regular season, if any team gets on a roll, they're going to be tough to take. Likewise for us too.
Yeah. And again, we excluded the Melfort Mustangs. How much of a test do you think they will present for the Ice Wolves, assuming the two clubs will hook up at one point? I'll start with you there, Daniel.
Well, the tough thing is, so far we've still got 2 games against Melfort left, but we haven't seen the Ice Wolves play 60 minutes against the Mustangs. We've seen the Mustangs, well, they still haven't played about 60 minutes against the Ice Wolves either. Either team seems to alternate games where they play 40 minutes or 20 minutes. And it's tough to gauge, and we still haven't seen them since all of the additions, but they are a very good hockey team. Today, again, they got gypped out of being in the top 20 rankings in the CJHL. They've been an honorable mention for pretty much the entire season. I don't know what they have to do to get on those rankings, but they've got the most points in the SJHL over their last 10 games. They are a very good team. Should be a motivated club too. Terry, how much of a handful do you think that the Mustangs would present for the Ice Wolves?
Oh, it will be a handful. It will be a good series, but I mean, I'm not looking down the road there yet. We'll see where the cards fall, and like Melfort does have a strong team, but we have a real strong team here too.
Yeah. Well, even let's just look ahead, maybe in the home and home. I don't know if they have a home and home, but they have a couple of games coming up with the Mustangs, as Daniel mentioned there. What kind of challenge do you think they'll present there? I'll start with you there, Sean.
Well, I think we got to play better at home here for sure. Last year, this was our barn. You come here, this was our place.
I agree.
We haven't played as good as I thought we could at home. I don't know, the crowd's been in it, absolutely. I don't know why. I'm sure Bob and Gavin will have them motivated, absolutely. I've been to the one game in Melfort. It was before Christmas, and we had them. It was in their end. We had a disallowed goal, really poor hitting from behind from Travis. He was out. He was ejected, which I thought was poor. But like Daniel said, we never really played our game yet with them. We never taken to them. Sure, they got a good goaltender, but so do we. It can go any way. And I agree with Terry. I don't think we should be looking at the Melfort series. It's one game at a time. Finish a regular season, and then it begins, right?
Mm-hmm. Terry, I think you had more thoughts too about perhaps why the Wolves have been struggling at home. Is there something that you haven't been seeing this year that maybe we saw in past years, particularly last year from this club?
Well, I don't think we're tough enough. I just don't think that we're coming out of the gate hitting as much as we should. And if we get into the 5 and 7 and 10-minute mark of the game and we haven't cranked anybody, I think the visiting teams come in here and think that we're playing a little bit soft, and you know, and I'm sure Bob and Gavin will address that, but I mean, I think we come out of the gate and we flatten a few guys right off the hop. Teams aren't going to want to come here.
Yeah.
And this is our building, and, you know, I think that's a very important part of our playoff run here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's switch gears here. Obviously, we've only got like 10 games left. What player on the Wolves has been perhaps for you maybe the most improved or the biggest surprise over the course of the season? I'll start with you there, Daniel.
I really like the game of Alex Vandenameele and Ben Bula. When Ben Bula came in, it was kind of touch and go for a little while. Thought we might see him end up in Junior B, but he really proved himself, showed that he could improve. He's probably been the most improved Ice Wolf this season, and he's really going to look good on the blue line next year. Alex Vandenameele came in. Not too many people knew what he was going to bring to the table, but he's been up on times. He's been one of the top 2 defensemen on this team by virtue of some of the guys coming in. He's been moved down a little bit, but that's nothing against him. It's just the guys that have been brought in have been so solid.
Yeah. And not the biggest guys, but both can handle themselves in the rough going, as we've seen so far this year. Sean, what's the answer to that question for you?
Well, you know, I like that Philippe Cliche. You know, he's what, 3rd in rookie scoring, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
He's kind of under the radar. Maybe not now. You know, I like him. I think, you know, who really leaves me wanting more is Justin Dusher. You know, he got a bad break with the suspension, I thought. Well, so did everybody else. And then the injury. That young man has talent galore, I think. I hope he, you know, I hope he heals up, and if he's in the playoffs, well, yeah, he could be a game changer, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
He hits, he skates both ways hard. He's responsible. He's excellent. You know, those 2 I like.
And he gets under the other teams.
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
such a good agitator.
Yeah, he's smart. He's really good.
Terry, you get the final word in that question.
Well, like, I like our group as a whole, and I like the way that young Boyer plays and Graham plays, and I like the young guys stepping up. I mean, we're a veteran team, but I mean, those young guys got a big part, and they will play a big part in our playoff run here. That Boyer, you know, he's a good little hockey player.
Yeah, he is.
You know, and Reese Dino.
Yeah.
You know, I like everybody. Let's put it that way, but I think it's pretty important that those young kids keep going up too there.
All right.
Well, you talk about those young guys against Melville on Saturday. It's down to the last minute. The Ice Wolves are up 3-2. Who's on the ice? Skylar Ledoux, Graham Smerrick, and Nathan Boyer. They get the winning goal. They're out there for the last minute, and they hemmed in Melville in their own end for most of the last minute.
Yeah. And addressing like the toughness of banging around, like Skylar has to be playing.
Yeah.
He's a big kid. I mean, he's not afraid of anything. He can play. He's good. You know.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and they're not hurting us at all. They're
great,
playing. They're and the knowledge and the experience they're getting, it's second to none, I think. Like, it's going to only benefit.
You know, hanging around with the team last year, the call-ups and stuff like that, they learned a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Now they're men. They're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, they've been certainly lights out this year.
I agree with you. I like that, yes.
All right, finally, for the most awkward question, I guess, the most uncomfortable question. Understanding, of course, that this is a first-place club, defending champions, coached by Bob Beatty, obviously a coaching legend at this level. However, if you were coach for a day, what would be maybe the one thing that you would change with this outfit, or something you would experiment with at least? And I'm going to let Daniel take first stab at that question.
Well, I'm going to take out the cop-out and say I was right, because as soon as Justin Ducharme got injured, I figured that Reese Dino should be on that second line. It took about a game and a half for it to happen. He ended up on the first line for a little while Lyndon Smith was out, and then he kind of went back down onto the lower lines, and then about halfway through one of the games last week, back up on the second line, and it worked fairly well. A couple goals for Phil Cliche, a couple of assists for Reese Dino, and that's worked out pretty well, and Bob looks like a smart guy.
And this was your idea all along. That's pretty impressive. All right. Terry, you could take next stab at this. What would be the one thing maybe you would change?
Well, I'd get Bob to grow his mustache back. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Make a big difference. Yeah, that's very good.
Well, it's distracting to the players on the ice that aren't used to it.
Bring back that home ice snarl back to the team. Yeah. All right, Sean, your thoughts on that?
I like Terry's comments, but I guess in a sense, really, I'd like to maybe see Miles play a little bit more. You know, just a little bit more. You know, we're handling him very well. I think the guys are handling him great. What, he's 10-1.
11-1.
11-1 now. Yeah, he played Melville right Saturday.
Amazing. Yeah.
You know, I like him. he battles, he's a competitor, and he's a good kid. You know, I think they complement each other well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he'll be ready too. You know, that's really the only thing I would do differently. Other than that, like, what can you say? Like, you know,
We're
first
set
place.
and goal, eh? Like we're all set and goal.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, absolutely. Yes, for sure. It'll be good. It'll be fine.
Well, guys, thanks so much for being on the program today.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
that.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Gilly.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider, and this has been From the Stands. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Well, that's all the time we have for this evening's edition of Ice Wolves Insider. I want to thank our special guests this evening. That would be Ice Wolves head coach Bob Beatty, as well as Ice Wolves players Alex Vandenameele and Ben Bula, and of course our fans in From the Stands, Terry Hunt, Daniel Fink, and Sean Hallett. It was a great show. We'll see you next week.